Hello. Can we just relax together for a moment? Let's breathe into the count of 4 and out to the count of 6. One more. Just notice the air around you, temperature. How does it feel on your skin? Take a moment to take in your surroundings. I'm taking it slow as I'm recovering from pneumonia, being forced to take it slow. So I'm seeing far fewer clients, no more than 2 a day. And I have some others who are waiting to get in, and I have things that need to get done, like grocery shopping. Tell myself, oh, I've got this big gap between clients today. I should go grocery shopping. Should do laundry. Should record another video. What are you telling yourself you should do today? Can it wait? Check in with your body. If you've got the energy and you won't be depleted to do it, do it. If it's fun, if it feeds you. I think I chose reading because it feeds me. I've been wanting to discover this and read along together, and I haven't picked it up since my last video, so before I'm doing 2 today, so you may have just noticed the same setting and outfit as we reread on Wanting Happiness, because I think we had covered that in another one. So when I feel hurried, when our breath gets shallow, I'm gonna slow down and we're gonna breathe together. Let relax be one of your words for 2026. Being together. Grocery shopping can wait. I have plenty of groceries in the house. Page 12, in Awareness, Anthony DeMelo's Awareness, the perils and opportunities of reality. Take what you want, leave the rest. You may or may not want to be in touch with reality today. So he starts at the top of page 12. Are we talking about psychology? He says in this spirituality course, so I'm assuming he was teaching a course when he taught this and it ended up in the book. This is a course in spirituality. Is psychology more practical than spirituality? Some might say yes. Our author says nothing is more practical than spirituality. What can the poor psychologist do? He can only relieve the pressure. I'm a psychologist myself, he says, as am I, psychotherapist, and I practice psychotherapy. And I have this great conflict within me when I have to choose sometimes between psychology and spirituality. I wonder if that makes sense to anybody here. It didn't make sense to me for many years. I'll explain. It didn't make sense to me for many years until I suddenly discovered that people have to suffer enough in a relationship so that they get disillusioned with all relationships. What? People have to suffer enough in a relationship so that they get disillusioned with all relationships. What could he mean? Isn't that a terrible thing to think, he says? They've got to suffer enough in a relationship before they wake up and say, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. What are you sick of today? I'm sick of it. When's the last time you heard yourself say that? Think of the context. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being sick, I'll tell you that much. And yet I push on. There must be a better way of living than depending on another human being. And what was I doing as a psychotherapist? People were coming to me with their relationship problems, with their communication problems, etc. And sometimes what I did was a help. But sometimes, I'm sorry to say, it wasn't, because it kept people asleep. This is going to be a challenging section for me, isn't it? Interesting. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this and think about the work I do with my clients and see if this applies to me. Maybe they should have suffered a little more. Maybe they ought to touch rock bottom and say, I'm sick of it all. It's only when you're sick of your sickness that you'll get out of it. I've been sick of my sickness pretty much since, well, not day one, but for a while now. Most people go to a psychiatrist or a psychologist to get relief. I repeat, to get relief, not to get out of it. Most of us are looking for relief, not for genuine change. Do you remember earlier in the book where it said, change is painful? I mean, who wants to be in pain? There's a story of little Johnny who, they say, was mentally retarded. But evidently he wasn't, as you'll learn from this story. Johnny goes to modeling class in his school for special children, and he gets his piece of putty, and he's modeling it. He takes a little lump of putty and goes to a corner of the room, and he's playing with it. The teacher comes up to him and says, "Hi, Johnny." And Johnny says, "Hi." And the teacher says, "What's that you've got in your hand?" And Johnny says, "Well, this is a lump of cow dung." The teacher asks, "What are you making out of it?" He says, "I'm making a teacher." The teacher thought, little Johnny has regressed. So she calls out to the principal, who was passing by the door at the moment, and says, "Johnny has regressed." So the principal goes up to Johnny and says, "Hi, son." And Johnny says, "Hi." The principal says, "What do you have in your hand?" And he says, "A lump of cow dung." "What are you making out of it?" And he says, "A principal." The principal thinks that this is a case for the school psychologist. Send for the psychologist. The psychologist is a clever guy. He goes up and says, "Hi," and Johnny says, "Hi," and the psychologist says, "I know what you've got in your hand." "What?" "A lump of cow dung," Johnny says. "Right. And I know what you're making out of it." "What?" "You're making a psychologist." "Wrong. Not enough cow dung." Oh my God. And they called him mentally retarded. What do I do with that story, huh? Poor psychologists, they're doing a good job. They really are. There are times when psychotherapy is a tremendous help. Thank you. Or else why am I doing it, huh? Because when you're on the verge of going insane, raving mad, you're about to become either a psychotic or a mystic. That's what the mystic is, the opposite of the lunatic. Do you know one sign that you've woken up? It's when you are asking yourself, am I crazy? Or are all of them crazy? Certifiable lunatics. The only reason we're not locked up in an institution is that there are so many of us. So we're crazy. We're living on crazy ideas about love, about relationship, about happiness, about joy, about everything. We're crazy to the point, I've come to believe, that if everybody agrees on something, you can be sure it's wrong. Wow. If everybody agrees on something, you can be sure it's wrong. Every new idea, every great idea, when it first began, was in a minority of one. That man called Jesus Christ, minority of one. Everybody's saying something different from what he was saying. The Buddha, minority of one. Everybody was saying something different from what he was saying. I think it was Bertrand Russell who said, every great idea starts out as a blasphemy. I think I like that. How often do I feel like I'm blaspheming? Honestly, almost every time I make a video. Which is interesting. That's well and accurately put. You're going to hear lots of blasphemies during these days. I think he means these days. For those who were paying attention, Anthony DeMelo, awareness. Spirituality is waking up. And again, if that word spirituality is still a trigger for you, doesn't fit, doesn't feel right, don't worry about it. Don't get lost in the words. Find your own word. He hath blasphemed. Because people are crazy, they're lunatics, and the sooner you see this, the better for your mental and spiritual health. Don't trust them. People are crazy, they're lunatics. If I recognize everybody's a lunatic, then why would I keep looking out there for my answers, which I've done most of my life? Don't trust your best friends. Get disillusioned with your best friends. Well, I've done plenty of that in this lifetime too. Yay, I'm right on track. They're very clever, as you are in your dealings with everybody else, though you probably don't know it. Ah, you're so wily and subtle and clever. You're putting on a great act. I bet every single one of us, including me, this party of one, can stop right now and think about ways that we're acting. Now, I do feel happy when I'm reading. Do I feel great yet while I'm recovering from pneumonia? Is my smile genuine? My smile says yes. Okay. Am I putting on an act that I'm ready to do these videos? I mean, I could continue to just rest, but I slept for a good 7 days and I was tired of just resting. Anyway, get it. Stop and check in. Is there any way in my life, in this moment, that I'm acting? I'm okay with that question. I'm not being very complimentary here, am I? But I repeat, you want to wake up. You're putting on a great act, and you don't even know it. You think you're being so loving. Ha! Whom are you loving? Even your self-sacrifice gives you a good feeling, doesn't it? I'm sacrificing myself. I'm living up to my ideal. Maybe that's what I'm doing if it's not acting. Trying to do a video every day because I said that's what I was going to do in 2026. I'm living up to my ideal. But you're getting something out of it, aren't you? Absolutely. That's the main reason I'm doing it. I'm getting something out of it. Is that wrong? Is it right? You're always getting something out of everything you do until you wake up. You're getting something out of everything you do. I'm assuming he's meaning ego rewards until you wake up. If I never did another video, would I still be a worthwhile person? Yeah. Would I have value? If I never sung another song, that'd be a harder one for me. If I never taught another Mayan mantra. If I never, fill in the blank for yourself. Am I willing? I practiced something with a client recently, maybe on the video yesterday. Am I willing not to accept, not to believe if that doesn't fit for you today? Am I willing to explore the possibility that I have value simply because I exist? There's nothing I need to do that I'm not already doing. And I am going to take my second nap of the day when I get done with this video, before I see my one other client of the day, and move one client from tomorrow to next week so that I only have 2 instead of 3. Anything you need to move off your plate today? Any way that you can tell yourself, if you've been practicing the reparenting process with me and you've gotten in touch with that loving inner parent, is there any way that you can lovingly reparent yourself today? Giving yourself more gentleness, more love, more respect, or more humor. Even reading this serious stuff, I could laugh at myself for how seriously I take it at times. Relax. Relax, don't do it, everybody. What to, how does that song go? So there it is. Step 1. Realize that you don't want to wake up. So why am I reading this book? Why are you reading this with me? Why are you watching these videos? It's pretty difficult to wake up when you have been hypnotized into thinking that a scrap of an old newspaper is a check for $1 million. How difficult it is to tear yourself away from the scrap of old newspaper. I'm gonna have to read that again. What? So there it is, step 1. Realize that you don't want to wake up. It's pretty difficult to wake up when you have been hypnotized into thinking that a scrap of old newspaper is a check for $1 million. How difficult it is to tear yourself away from that scrap of old newspaper. Oh, changing out that massage coupon, though I want to remember. Philip Alvarez. I think you gave me one of the most amazing massages of my lifetime, and I think you're in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I'm keeping this because one day I'm coming back. And I got this beautiful magnetic bookmarker from Athens, Greece, when I went with my dear friends in October 2025. And I'm putting my bookmarker in the page. Can you hear all of that and still relax? Just notice. I love you. 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 Bye for now, dear ones. Bye for